Welcome to Poetry Street. This is the room without a roof where every voice is heard. Welcome, and I'm so glad that you're all here. I'm so thankful for poetry and Poetry Street and for everyone that has helped me uh, make it through this rough year, because it has been a rough year. Also, I want to start with the land welcome. New York and Long Island has always been the gathering and trading place for the indigenous people. We acknowledge that we are guests on this land, Poetry Street, and our work in the area of Long Island is situated on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Lenape, who are the original caretakers. Also, the Canarsie, the Shinnecock, the Montaukett, Reckonwalk, Mansay, and the Haudenosaunee. We acknowledge and respect the many indigenous people who live on this land and continue to make ongoing contributions to our area. Once again, welcome to Poetry Street, the room without a roof. We're missing Maggie today. She's not feeling well, and we hope that she recovers soon. We have a special today, open mic, no features, and everyone gets to read two poems. And speaking of Maggie, there she is. Hey, Maggie.
Happy New Year and welcome to Poetry Street.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the open mic, and I just assume that since you're on the line, that you do want to read. So I'll just call people out, okay? And we're going to start with the first person that was here on the call, Margaret Wall.
Thank you, Chip. It's great to be here. I've been doing the Modesto writing challenge this month, so I've been doing a lot of new poems, one a day. So I'm going to read one of my poems from the challenge. Just give me a second to pull it up. I'm not used to being first on the open mic. Alrighty. This one is for the color of the year, which Pantoon's color of the year is Mocha Mousse. Mocha Mousse, color of the year. Mocha Mousse is a shade we taste with whipped cream and a nutmeg drizzle. My friend posts, it's a warming brown hue of richness with delectable qualities of coffee and chocolate, answering our desire for comfort. Mocha Mousse is coffee with a perfect blend of creamer. Mocha Mousse is fur undercoats on Siamese cats in summer, their whiskers that match. Mocha Mousse is the newest tone for fall cardigans. Dirt stains from pumpkins growing on the vines on the grounds of pumpkin patches. Mocha Mousse is the scent of hot chocolate mixed with marshmallow bubbles, the sweetness tingling inside our nostrils. Mocha Mousse is Teddy Ruxpin in 1985, or the Furskin Bears of Xavier Roberts in 1983, a tint darker than the Bearstain Bears. Mocha Mousse is the scaly, woody caps on acorns and desert sand saturated by falling raindrops. Pantoon color of the year is a shade of promise in a time of growth, blending nice with tones of green and orange to help our prisms and rainbows grow in earth tones.
That was great. Would you like to read another one now?
Sure, I'll pick out another one.
Okay, great.
This one's called December Trinkets, and it was to write a poem about joy without using the word. Happiness can be found in the smallest of places. Delight inside pens with purple ink, my secret Santa gifts. Pleasure in seeing a sea turtle swimming free from rescue, my favorite boy band performing on stage, going to 90s Con, meeting celebrities, enjoyment of my cats pouncing toys on the rug. Smell exhilaration in home-baked cookies at Roots. Feel cheers of children opening gifts on my friends' Facebook feeds. This elation that comes over me when I give more than I receive. It's quality over quantity that leads to a euphoria filled with contentment, enchantment, and amusement. A solace in knowing as the year draws to a close, my heart can revel in the comfort Love spread like sunshine. My gifts given out, my words, my thoughts, and my charity. We can't see heaven, but we feel it close, especially at Christmas.
Wow, that was nice. Thank you so much. Virginia Woolf is a great author, but Virginia Walker, would you please read since you're was the second person on the call today?
Hi, yes, so many people say that. Virginia Woolf. I have two poems, and the first one is the reality of some things that are happening in the world, even if we don't want it to be. And then I'll read a more contemplative poem because I think at this time of year, we're all in a contemplative mood, reassessing the past year and thinking ahead, and maybe going over memories. But this poem, Artist Again in Peril, for Pavel Kushner, pianist, who died in a hunger strike in Birobidzhan prison, age 39, jailed for opposition to Putin's invasion of Ukraine, and with hopes for Kasina Karolina, ballerina, sentenced to 12 years in prison for donating to the Ukrainian military. Plato distrusted poets, and his heirs of concocted and superimposed reality descriptives also distrust pianists, ballerinas, and of course, poets. Legs and fingers can be threatened, craniums crack like walnuts, voices of discontent, hints of opposition, all must be silenced, thwarted, obliterated. Arts must serve the hive. And thank you. And my second poem
Nice.
is going back in memories. I think we do that this time of year. Contentment. Letting the eye contrive from rocks and seed pods, other days of warm skin. The hand selecting quartz, winking wet of bay and sun. Afternoon return from a swim, pine cones sticky underfoot. Waves of fractal moments, photos cannot reproduce.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Linda, would you please read for us? Thank you.
Thank you. I would love to. I'm going to dedicate this to Emmy Sue. It's called Beach Glass. A sudden squall blowing a tablecloth, all the red dinnerware to its splintering plunge. The stained cloth flapping like a torn sail, beyond the reach, the glass rolled in by the tide for years. What signalman, what distracted brakeman tossed the lantern along with his hello over a bridge? The shattering lost in the wind, fragments twisted, severed by the rocks, the tides. The pink depression glass that her grandmother so carefully collected, now shards and thorns, thrown, pitched at low tide on the rocks. Still stabbing, the anger sharper than the glass, years after that last argument. The cream the cream pottery chunk, showing only the blue Grand Turk Salem between old and spice. What sailor went down with a clean shave? A shard of blue willow china discovered at ebb tide. Someone had toast and jam before that last swim. It sits there, carefully collected in a fish-shaped curve.
Nice.
Thank you. And this one is called Your Lacrimatory. Ground by the sands of Jerusalem, Aqua Vial received her offering. Slender shape fit into her palm, pressed to her tear duct only. When the music swelled, when the words were right, when overcome with pure delight, when the lost were found, when the sick were healed, when hidden blessing was revealed, when I felt your hand, when the spirit moved, when the pain and hurt to you removed. Those tears of joy, my jar now filled, for you to pour, for you to spill. Revive the dead, take down the wrong, like David's pebbles. Make us strong, like a river flowing to the sea, rife with joy. Carry me. Thank you.
The crematory. Love it. Thank you so much. Herb, would you read for us?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and happy holidays.
Yes, for everybody. Yes, thank you. Okay. Winter to Lorenda. A little while to walk with you, dear love, to lean on you, my light and happy head. Then winter comes. The shrunken sun above each thinning tree is gray. Each leaf's long dead. A little while to hold you and to stand by stubbled fields of once tall golden corn. Now the predestined silence, and your hand lost to me. Nights are frozen and forlorn. Too little time to love you, hardly time to love you well enough. Then we must part. I walk through winter fields alone and climb the hill where you lie with my broken heart. Short summertime, too soon my heart's desired. Come winter and its darkness, one by one, rose petals dropped and quickly dried, expired below the slow decadence of the sun. And this one's a little bit lighter for the season. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, every holiday. Love them all. Love holidays, no matter what one. Family Christmas Day dinner. Uncle Bill is humming Christmas songs while the house fills. Family and the warm smell of food. The roast, potatoes, and other vegetables fill the house with joy, while Dad cracks fresh walnuts. Apple pie and cherry, too, are baking, while Mom prepares her special spicy brown gravy. Fragrant Christmas wreaths and candy treats make the gifts, carols, lights, food, and family more sweet.
Thank you. Too little time to love you. I love that line. That was awesome. Thank you for that. Hey, Gladys, would you please read for us today?
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for asking. Soul is light, is love. Light releases the soul to know, fills the empty vessel conceived with need, like sister water seeks its own level. Is blood more of me than mother, more of me than father, denies artificiality, resists confinement, makes me dance with remembrance, writes my future dreams, releases the soul to know, seeks its own place, sparkling diamonds on the streets of Brooklyn, in the eyes of old Jewish men, crystal knock repeats in loop until they die. In darkness, light finds vessels to fill, crawls from under concrete tombs, remembers its beginning in the twin of darkness.
Wow.
And Blossom's breath. This is the 5th month, the month of wisteria, beach roses, bridal wreath, and baby geese. Today are in competition for luxuriance. The baby goslings have chartreuse bonnets, wisteria hangs as slender fingers waving in the cool promising mid-month sun. The bridal wreath of my childhood overhangs the grass for other children and their poems. As lovers discover once more the pollen of the wedding song, the sea which rolls over us, infused with salt and blossom's breath. I read the calendar of these many years and cannot remember one lonely spring.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gladys.
Thanks.
Megan, it's your time
Okay,
to shine.
this is called Choices. Each year, we walk through redolent groves in wonder. Should we open our home to a Fraser fir as sturdy as family, silver-bottomed branches glinting, but whose perfume isn't as bright as the balsam fir? If we choose a balsam fir, will its will will its weaker limbs bend under the weight of memories, shimmering with teardrops and smiles? Should we take in a blue spruce whose needles won't drop but prick our fingers? Maybe a white pine with its soft needles and blue-green hue. Each tree, each choice pleads with open arms, vibrant with different strengths, all a celebration of growth. I can't walk down every path, can't bring home every tree. What we choose this year does not have to be our choice next year. I will keep our tree's roots intact so that when this season ends, its full boughs will continue to flourish. But if its roots are damaged, I will cut branches so there will be hope of another tree spreading from our choice. Even if this year's tree falls or branches refuse to flourish, its real beauty lies rooted in the belief in the endless season of giving and the conviction that our family is one branch of the evergreen family of the world. And then my next poem is called You're a Poem. Poetry is the echo of pine in the air just before you feel full branches embrace your hands. Poetry is the hum of journeys on the highway outside. Poetry is a puzzle of words that don't fit, coalescing into a glittering home. Poetry is the lake that lets you float in your favorite tube or take a deep dive in and discover schools of incandescent fish. Like me, poetry is dependent on sound, sometimes flexible, sometimes structured. Poetry lets me be people I've never been, selves I hope to be, and the person I was yesterday. Poetry reminds me that I'm not alone, even though I'm the only one who can breathe my breaths. Thank you for writing the poem of you for our endless book. Thanks.
Wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank
Nina
you.
Yabel will be our next reader.
Okay, The Long Snow. In the winter of 47, 48, and 50, snow covered the backyard, clung to the splits in the cherry tree, sculpted the willow's thick fingers, bowed limbs, knotty breasts. A reeling wind spun snow into mosques, shaped spines along alleyways, buried the summer cottages. Resplendent snow sifted against the church. Nuns in their wide habits shimmered along the walkways. My father and I walked through carved backyards below the frozen shapes of children in multicolored clothing that hung from clotheslines. Pellets of gray snow, black snow, funneled to earth, covered tops of cars, tree lamps, street lamps, fences, settled into window crevices. Boys crawled in and out of new-fashioned igloos, roasted Mickeys at the icy hearth. When the long snow ended, igloos melted away, willows claimed their shape, and sap from the bark of the cherry tree. The cottages again were crisp in daffodils. We get to read one more, is that it?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
This is such a treat.
Yeah, it is a treat. If I can find the other one. Oh, well, I think I'll just read this one. The Deck. Through winter nights, boards were pounded, torn and splintered, veins frozen, drowned clutches of drab marigolds, lifeless stalks of old annuals sunk in swollen clay, braced for wind, still breathing, peonies, tiny pink roses, bleeding hearts, daylilies. Remember that your tortured wood, soon oiled and subtle, bold and strong, will delight in the weight of fresh water, scent of new soil, weight of terracotta wombs, birthing color.
Nice. Thank you so much. And Nina Yavelle is on our film, Poetry Street on the Road to Film, along with Maggie Bloomfield, Stephen Kramer, myself, and so many others. So please check out that film. J.R. Turek, the hardest woman working person in poetry, aka Purple Poet.
Okay. I will jingle to the last. Merry Christmas Kwanzaa to everyone. That kind of, I guess that kind of covers everything except Happy Saturday. I'm going to read a poem that actually just came out in Poets of the Promise, timely in many ways. I believe in hope, in miracles, in faith healing what medical science cannot. I believe in wishes, in dreams, in childlike magic to widen my eyes with surprise. I believe in God, in saints, in the impossible being possible with prayer. I believe in angels, in heaven, in my circle of family and friends, though I don't need to see their wings. I believe in Santa, in the needing, the wanting, being gifted greater than my expectations. I believe in peace, in you and me, and the possibility that someday all the world will believe too. And to my second poem, every year I give my Farmingdale Creative Writing Group members a poem and an ornament. And so this is this year's poem, and this is this year's ornament. I can hold it up. Purple paper angel. Okay. Ring in 2025. Time flies on angel wings. Some days it leaps through clock hands, a whir of motion and commotion to keep up, keep writing, keep an open mind to messages we may not see, but feel their presence. Other days time slows, a languid pirouette to let us stop, enjoy the moments that awaken our senses, open brain canals to a novel approach to untried tools and techniques. Silken breezes bring us serene contentment on angel wings. Joyful spirits, messengers delivering harmonious holiday cheer, blessings for abundance, a treasure trove of wishes for sparkling dreams come true, for a zephyr of inspiration to take us by surprise, Fill us with glorious verse and paragon chapters to keep us turning pages with anticipation of even more joy. Purple paper folds hold magic, a breath of spring in December bluster, warm wishes of sunlight glowing our hearts with giving, sharing, preparing for a harvest of bright ideas, renewed energy to create a world of words we love, to share them with those we adore, to encourage others to strive for good, better, best, to stretch, to touch an angel's wings, ring in a rebirth of happiness and serenity, our guardians of benevolence, to carry us safe on faithful wings through the coming year.
Nice.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I think I touched the angel's wing when I met you, J.R. Turk. Hey,
Same
Bruce
here, same
Johnson.
here.
Bruce, would you please read? Hi.
Yes, thank you. It's great to be here amongst all these wonderful people on Christmas or around Christmas,
Yes.
and New Year's, and all the holidays. This is called News of the Child. Catherine, he pleaded, into a horde of holiday shoppers. Catherine, Catherine, he cried as he spun around, searching with wild eyes. He ran a few steps, stopped, ran again. Catherine, his voice faded as he vanished in the swirl of the crowd, followed by a walkie-talkie security guard. Seconds suddenly precious as we bystanders waited, as shoppers rushed by, their little packages appearing and disappearing. I peered into that stampede for the tumbling of that child, paralyzed by an impossible impulse to seal off the dozen mall exits all at once. Catherine's daddy, a young woman, called while walking by us briskly. She was smiling, almost singing, as she searched for him, to bring the good news to him, to bring the good news, bringing good news to all who had stopped and hoped. Thanks. Just the one.
Bruce, do you have another one that you'd like to
No,
share?
I just have the one.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. That was very nice. Barbara Ann Branca, are you going to sing for us today? Unmute, please.
Okay, all set. Hello, everyone. I don't have my singing voice game on.
Oh, no worries.
Here's an old poem since people have been mentioning balsam. Megan did, I think. Weekender. Weekender, that's what it said on the box. Essential oils, aromatic. Teasing feather brush lay flightless in a Victorian secret treasure chest amid brown balsam needles, 30 winters of prickly weekends laying end to end. How long did that moldy box languish at the very bottom of my cerebral closet after our flesh no longer burned and we were blind to what we had become? Wasn't that happy a poem? And I'll go to something else now.
Thank you.
This is about deciduous leaves now. This was just recently published in the Long Island Quarterly. Taking leave. The autumn leaves are making a movie. They are all stars in the golden light. I catch the maple matinee through the screen of my windowsill. Some leaves are razzle-dazzle dancers. Some nod in agreement with the fickle wind. Some flap wildly like buffoons, testing the strength of their weakening petioles. Some buzz with nervous excitement. Some wave gracefully like a royal, but still say, "Take me, choose me." I observe the cast of players out on a limb, which will find release before the end of the act, which stem will unhinge in a sudden gust. There's no reprise, no curtain call in this drama, only certain downward drift. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot in days of old lang syne? Happy New Year, everyone.
Barbara Ann Bronca, you never disappoint. I love you so very much. Thank you so much for that. I heard Diane Ward for the first time yesterday at the Poets Port, and she was incredible. Thank you, Linda, for sponsoring Poets of Port and Diane Ward.
Thank you so much. I am only going to read one piece. It's a pleasure to be here and to meet all of you. This piece, very short, was prompted by the Panacea Arts in California a couple of years ago. And the prompt was Lasting Memories, Radiant Hope. And I decided to select this after hearing Megan and so many people talk about hope. Lasting memories, radiant hope. Do you recall the smell of soaps and cologne elders wore? Do you recall holiday kitchen smells? Weekday kitchen smells? Do you recall the lotion we all used to soften our skin and look dewy? Because the television announcer convinced us that we did, and our eyes glazed over and began to believe it. And so we are convinced that this stuff is good. Look, it works. Suddenly our eyes soften and the gaze becomes more forgiving. Our creases disappear because we have radiant hope. It was the addition of beet juice and drinking more water and having a more positive outlook and getting rid of verbal assailants quicker and reminding you of your mortality to say what you must now, not later. My radiant hope I personify in my body and my deeds. And hopefully, as I remember the smell of lotions and soaps and comforting food, I build a lasting memory for someone else. BMW. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. Emily Sue Sloan will be our next reader. Hi, Emily.
Hello, Chip. Hi, everybody. Thank you for doing this. It's wonderful. I'm going to read one that just came out in the Avocet fall issue. It's called Oh Willow, Don't You Weep. Weeks after maples and oaks surrender all color, bony arms reaching to paint the sky a deeper blue, roots burrowing into the weight of winter, the weight of winter. A willow's slim yellowed leaves cling to branches, bending like narcissus to bask in their reflection on the glassy pond. It's a quiet act of defiance, like my Christmas cactus still blooming on the far side of February, until a raucous platoon of Canada geese descends, roils the water, breaks the spell, sets the willow to weeping. Thanks.
Thank you.
And
Do you
this
have another one?
I do have another one. It's a
Great.
new poem. It's called Hope. A mourning dove rested in the grass until my gaze from the window disturbed its meditation on sunlight. It flew off just as I wondered if it was and hoped it wasn't dead, only to be followed by 1, 2, 3, no, at least a dozen doves rising out of the perennial flower bed. I'd failed to notice them. Their feathers blended in so well with mottled soil where they pecked and chatted peacefully about the day and the way time is turning the dark hours longer and cooler, cicada songs reaching for stars hidden within the blue moon's light, and acorns already split open on the ground. I see with new eyes the place where I live. Stories no longer replaying, unexamined inside the parentheses of my mind. After a journey mapped by falling fences, joy has startled the landscape alive. Deep greens, earthy scents, and the wing whistles of doves taking flight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jim Ara, one of the nicest people on the planet.
Hi. Is it okay if I share my screen so you can see the poem?
Yes.
In my mom's favorite picture of me, the one she wanted next to her when she died, I'm asleep. It was taken at my father's house. Back then, I called him Dad, but he doesn't answer to that anymore. Dad, I said, seated 3 guests from him at a dinner party. Dad, Dad, a few more times, until I decided to say his name. I cringed as quietly, very quietly, I called to him. We were at his friend's house, and instantly he turned toward the sound of his first name. That was how I learned the word Dad no longer registers. In this photograph of me sleeping, an open book on my chest, my mom perhaps saw only an image of a peaceful nap. Or maybe she saw better days. She had said only, I've always loved that picture of you. So in her sunlit hospice room, this 8x10 photograph was with her when she went to sleep.
Thank you. You have another one? That was
You know
nice.
what? I actually was only going to read that one, but since I put you all through so much trouble, I think I will read the next one.
You definitely owe us another one.
I'm sorry.
So you definitely owe us another one.
Right, exactly.
Just be
That's what I'm
selfish.
thinking.
I love your reading. Thank you.
On being Jewish. My identity is a hidden trial. There is no mezuzah on my doorpost, nor chai on my necklace. The pain of the shunned is as piercing as the death of my mom. The taste of ovens has passed from a prior generation, and I fear the cumulative indifference that can lead to extinction.
Wow. That was amazing. Thank you, Jen. I would like to read a poem that was recently published in the All the Men Came and Danced anthology, and it's entitled In Between. It's regarding Alzheimer's, either from a point of view of the person that's dealing with the Alzheimer's or a family member taking care of the person. Stolen moments delivered spontaneously almost last forever. What's remembered sporadically bright color walls, a crowded room of empty dreams fettered to the past, silently watching and surviving another moment of uncertainty, thinking certainly there is a way out. Is freedom ever so burdensome, with or without carrying heavy secrets and contemplating quietly decomposed dreams, possible outcomes dire? With furious longing, I watch you leave your being as a fading smile. Already I feel your absence and presence become one. Thank you. Bob, if you could read for us. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. Good to see you all. And wishing you an upcoming Happy New Year. First one is light at the end. Once, moderation was truly admired. Now, that's mostly for the old and tired. What's happened to this country's beacon of light when all we do is fuss, frighten, and fight? Must all behavior be totally inhumane? Have we swallowed a pill and become insane? It's become so hard just to cope. For goodness' sake, people, throw each other a rope, or else I think we will obliterate all hope. Alas, I will continue to pray that we join together to renew a much brighter day.
Thank you. Do you have another one?
Yes, I just wrote this about an hour ago.
Awesome.
Prayer for a new year. Will this new year be just another new year? Or will things finally change? Usher out the old, like misogyny, hate, bigotry. Stop the fire of fear and separation. Usher in the new, like community and cooperation. Making a bomb for us to join together rather than break us up. Thank you.
Thank you. Definitely a hope for the new year. Thank you so much. Janet O'Hare.
Okay, that's good?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. I'm reading a poem out of the poetry book, the last issue, and it's called Two Bills by Philip Kaye. And yes, it does beg the question of a 9-year-old needs two $20 bills, still sticky and crumbled, just the way they were when taken from my mother's purse. Suddenly suffocated, snug in the navy Velcro wallet my mother brought me because I begged, and she said, "The blue reminds me of you." The two bills safely hidden except for to show Eddie Tasman, who somehow had $60 in his wallet. More money than I had ever seen in a palm. No, the two bills were to stay here crushed against each other, promising something, a safety I could not put words to then, perhaps am still chasing now. The two bills would whisper only my name. The things I thought they could be worth, 2.5 CDs, a week's worth of food, a warm bed. In a different city, perhaps even a different sink for my mother, which was now a dull red. Old crimson drip of corn syrup from the drink she had been holding for me in her purse, now staining my hands, my nails under the blabbering faucet, the liquid ruby settling itself like a dim blanket onto the white basin, and there I would replace for her, and with a better one, with handles that didn't squeak. And my mother, the next morning, with her hands clean, outstretched, calling me into her room, saying it evenly, I need it back. Neither of us needing clarification. How she didn't look at me, how I put it in her hand, how after she still left the purse at the bottom of the stairs, open, where had it always been? Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Do you have another one you'd like to read?
No, that's all today.
Okay, well, great. Thank you for that. Jeannie Lane.
Hi, everyone. I am the only one, I guess, who tested out my car. I drove from Wading River to the Riverhead Library and went in and said, "Where's Poetry Street? I don't see it." But anyway, I got it on my phone and I watched you on the way home. So now I'm home.
Oh, I'm so glad that you.
I could listen to it.
I'm so sorry. Yes.
I know. Okay, here goes. It must have been the early 1930s. I was living in Brooklyn in a cold water flat with mother and dad and two little brothers. Dad wasn't working, but most people we knew weren't either. And we were happy. Dad found an old wagon, brought it home and fixed it. I made good use of it. In spring through fall, I would pile my brothers in the wagon. There was a cemetery not too far away. I told my brothers we were going to the country. I pulled them there in the wagon. The grass was green and there were hills and trees and flowers. We didn't pay attention to the tombstones. The older brother had to get out and help me pull the baby brother to the crest of the hill, where we'd all pile in and go flying down, shrieking loud enough to wake the dead. And we were happy. When winter came, I'd pull my brothers to the train tracks, where we'd search for pieces of coal that might have dropped off the trains to bring home to try to get a little heat in the house. Proud of any coal we found, and we were happy. We ate oatmeal and potatoes and oatmeal. Sundays, we all went to our Sicilian Nana's house. She always had homemade sauce and pasta, and we were very happy. The late afternoon before Christmas, Dad and I went out, leaving my little brothers with Mom. Dad didn't have money to buy a Christmas tree, but we walked along and picked up discarded branches cut from other trees. We managed to conceal them until my brothers went to bed. Then Dad wired the branches together and made a beautiful little Christmas tree. The next morning, my little brothers and I were overjoyed to find the Christmas tree. Each of our socks held an orange and a walnut, and we were happy.
Thank you so much. That was really nice. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to read another one. This is entitled Enough. So many thoughts, ideals engulfed, spending too much time dodging snares, traps like smashing your own dreams against the wall like dominoes, doubt, shame, regrets, anger, pain, and the will not to continue. Asking, answering, must I always tell the truth to myself at least? Deep down past the bottom of the well in a season of drought, breaking camouflage mirrors as if there was something but nothing left to see or fight for bigger than a mustard seed. Yes, a mustard seed, which in reality is the perfect amount of faith I need. Thank you. Okay. Maggie, I know you're not going to read, but would you like to say something?
Well, this is just it's a beautiful afternoon of poetry. I wish I felt up to reading, but I don't. But I hope to see you all next month back at the library. And I wish everybody a happy new year. And we have fabulous features next month, which you will hear about. Thanks.
Thank you, Maggie, and I hope you feel better. And please just watch our website, poetrystreetontheroad.com. Claire, would you like to say something? You unmute. Thank you.
Sure. Hi, thank you, Chip, and thank you for all the wonderful poets who read. Last month, I missed the first poetry street since we went to the Riverhead Library, and even before that. But I made a haiku to explain why. Sibling rivalry ends with the news of stage 4, metastasized. So my sister is ill, and I just couldn't bear to be here last week. But I have a lot of hope, and a lot of people in their poetry today helped me tremendously and spoke right to it. So I want to thank you.
Thank you, Claire, and prayers to your sister and your entire family. Would anyone else like to say anything before we close? All right, well, wait. First, I want to say thank you to the Riverhead Public Library for opening up their doors so that Poetry Street can have a physical home, although we are the room without a roof where every voice is heard. So thank you, Riverhead Public Library.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you, everyone.
Beautiful work.
Bye.
Yes.
All.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy
Thank
you.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy
Be
New
well.
Year.
Thank you.
See you
Well,
next month.
Happy New Year.
Healthy, happy New Year, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah.
everyone.
See you.
Thank you.